Hey everybody, this is Rob here. Today we're going to be doing an instructional kind of tutorial video on the bow grip. And thank you guys for liking and subscribing. I very much appreciate it. And so with violin and viola playing, especially in all strings, cello, bass, whatever, that has a bow grip, the bow is one of the most important things that we have. When we think about our parts of music, you've got intonation, you've got rhythm, for us as string players, bow direction, you've got tone, dynamics, and then articulation. Well, for us, the left hand is the pitches, but rhythm, tone, dynamics, articulation, bow direction, all that has to do with the bow. So so what you're doing with your bow is really the most important thing here. And with my students, I see a lot of in string playing, you have to spend so long on technique because it just takes so long to get really good at it. But it's very important to have your bow doing exactly what it can do, so that when your brain tells your bow to do something, that your bow will do what your brain is telling it to do. And so one thing that will help this is first of all, we need to talk about the bow grip. So first thing with the bow grip is we got to figure out where to put all of our fingers. So we got our two middle fingers that will go here on the frog. That's this little black thing right here. So we have our two middle fingers are going to be kind of flat on the frog, like that. We have our first kind of hanging out of, on the leather somewhere around here. And then the pinky is one of the most important things. The pinky, we definitely don't want it flat like this. We want it up on the tip of our pinky. For spacing, we want generally about a finger width apart. You don't want it too far, too spread out, and then you don't want it too close either, all of your fingers together. You want them generally spread out. So you make it look like that. The other thing that you will notice is that look at how curved all of my fingers are. See, those look really good right there. A big problem that I see with a lot of my students is they'll have these kind of flat fingers like that, and look at how flat this pinky is. You want everything nice and curved and relaxed. All right, so have your fingers curved. If you want to practice it with it straight up and down to curve those fingers, that can help for a minute. Eventually, and then you can also hold the bow, so you can be as relaxed as possible. To just try this at first. So that's the first thing. Second thing, let's look back here at the frog, or at the thumb rather. I don't know if you can see this, but right here where the leather meets the stick, I've had this huge indentation over years of playing on this leather. So what you want to do is your thumb is, again, just like the pinky, it's going to go on the tip, and you want the tip on half of the stick and half of the corner of the frog. Right? So you want it on the tip like this. Again, a lot of people have it flat thumb. You don't want that. You want a nice and curved thumb. See how my thumb looks there? Nice and curved. So again, and this is what they do. They go flat fingers, flat thumb. You want curved thumb, and curved thumb, curved fingers. Looks kind of like that from that angle. All right? So everything's nice and relaxed. Now, another way that you can practice this is with a pencil, right? Pencils are a lot lighter. It can be easier at first, especially for little kids. So you have, again, curved thumb on the tip of the thumb, curved fingers kind of hanging over, and then your pinky on the tip, right? This is another way that you can practice your bow grip, pen or pencil. And so one thing that kind of hurts a lot of people when they start with the bow grip is they want to do this claw grip kind of thing where it's really tense, and they're gripping the absolute crap out of their instrument, or out of their bow. And so what you want to do is you want to have everything nice and relaxed. Nice curved, relaxed fingers, curved, relaxed thumb. With the relaxedness, something that happens a lot is I would probably relax your thumb. It's really hard when you're squeezing this way to be really tense without your thumb engaged. As soon as you engage your thumb, all of a sudden your hand gets really tight. So if you find yourself kind of squeezing too much, I would try to relax that thumb. will really help. And the other thing that will also help is that I'm going to do a whole video on tension, because tension is very important in all instruments, clarinet, guitar, drums, whatever. But if your shoulder is really tight, it's going to be very hard to relax your hand. So what you want to do is relax your shoulder, and I guarantee your hand is going to relax. All right, so you want everything nice and relaxed. Now, another thing with the relaxed part is that the wrist can kind of get in your way a little bit. I see a lot of people, especially violinists, have this broken wrist thing. So again, you don't want it to be like this, and you don't want to go the other way either, right? You want it to be generally nice and flat, so you can be as relaxed as possible. This will give you the most power too. It's just like this is just straight up science. Physics is, if you break this, it's going to be hard to get a lot of power. If you straighten that out, you have this distribution of power to your hand, so that's going to be helpful. Now, with all of this stuff, you're going to have a fluidity going on as you're playing, especially when you're doing long tones. So as you go up, you are going to break the wrist a little bit, just a little bit. You're not going to want to do this, but you're going to break it, and then as you go down, you're going to have a little bit of a concave. Right, I'll kind of show you. So you go out and it's sort of broken there, and you come up and it'll be a little bit broken. But the key is look at my flow here, right? The fluidity of the fingers and the fluidity of the wrist as well, right? So you want everything nice and relaxed, so it has the ability to move. If you're claw grip, it's going to be really hard to adjust anything. You want everything nice and relaxed. Now, with this fingers relaxed, I think you'll probably notice that I've been able to kind of do this sort of. So this is what's called collé, right? You'll notice that how you practice this is you go from flat up with your knuckles, flat up, flat up, right? You can do this with the bow. And the idea here is that this is your shock absorber. So just like your knees or your shock absorber, or in a car, it's having give into whatever force you're putting on a thing. You have sort of a give there. Your elbow and your shoulder also work as a shock absorber. So you've got fingers, wrist, elbow, shoulder as a whole shock absorber to be able to get down into the string and have a nice relaxed sound. So what you can do is practice. So the other part of this is the thumb, right? So I don't know if you can see this, but I'm bringing my thumb out into the hand, out into the hand, out into the hand. So it looks like this with the bow. So on the fingers, it looks like this. You have it out, in, and then your thumb out into the hand, out into the hand. So if you're doing this, you got to make sure you're doing it with your thumb as well. All right, and you can practice this from going up, out, and start up, down, start up, down, and then the other way, start down, go up, start down, go up. Right? That's the basic idea. So this is a way to have a very relaxed and a fluid hand. Right? So there's that. And then last thing is, here's a couple of bowing exercises that you can do to practice this. So the first one is you turn the hairs pointing toward yourself. So you start, we call this one belly button, pretty lame name, but straight up and down, you have belly button, and then you go straight up to your head. All right, do that. You want to not let it move. You want to keep it straight up and down. The idea here is this is your upper arm exercise. So that's one, belly button, etc. Next one is what's called left to right. Again, a pretty lame name, but you move side to side. This is your forearm exercise, right? So you're moving side to side, like that. Another one that you can do is circles. Circles work pretty good. Again, try not to let your bow move. You want it straight up and down, and you can go back the other way if you want, like that. And then the last one is probably the trickiest one. So you have it like here, and this is called the windshield wipers. So you have it maybe parallel to the ground, and then you move it all the way back parallel the other way. Right? Just like this. Just like a windshield wiper. Now, if you're not used to doing this bow grip, and you do this for 7-10 seconds, you might already notice your hand getting tired, and that's very normal. If your thumb, a lot of times when they try this at first, the pinky will slide off of the stick. Don't worry about that. Just try to put it back on. Thumb will go straight, or fingers go straight. Again, the whole point of these exercises is not just to wave our arm because it's fun. It's to try to keep the bow grip while you're moving the bow in various directions. So if if your finger falls off or it goes flat or whatever, just, don't get frustrated and mad. Just put it back on there and try it again. With these bowing exercises, don't sit here for an hour in a row doing this. 1 minute before you practice is probably enough. But try to do this every single time. So now, putting this all into play here, I got my viola. So I'm going to show you what this kind of looks like in practice, especially with long tones is a really good way to practice your bow grip. And what I want you to notice is how fluid everything is, especially when I come up here. I use the collet to have to kind of a rounded kind of feeling when the bow gets up to the frog going back down, and then also the same way when you're out at the tip going back up bow again. You want it really relaxed up, relax down, relax up, relax, right? So something like this. Right? You see how that works? See how the fingers are engaged and they're nice and relaxed? I'm able to adjust my fingers, adjust my volume, and have touch on it. If you figure out this bow grip, again, what you're doing is you're enabling your brain is telling your arm and hand to do all sorts of stuff. Go down bow, softer, louder, etc. And if you have a bow grip, then this is a great way to be able to let your hand do what your mind is telling it to do. When you're too tight, it's not going to happen. So anyway, that's a little bit about the bow grip. Again, bow grip, very, very important. So I would practice that a lot. It affects literally every song you're ever going to play ever again. And so really important to get that figured out. I would say tension is probably the number one culprit. And so try to relax as much as possible. Again, tune in. I'll do a whole video on tension and how to kind of deal with that. It's a big problem for violinists. So anyway, I hope that was helpful for you guys. Go out and keep practicing, and I will see you on the next one.